What Trump really destroyed, the dark truth behind USAID by none other than Shoe0nHead.
Donald Trump, along with Elon Musk, have created a new government agency called Doge. And what I originally thought was just an older sibling giving a younger sibling an unplugged video game controller actually turned into a real thing. And their first order of business was dismantling USAID, an innocent government program that helped poor people all around the world. Or was it?
I'm ready for this. I'm going to be honest, I don't follow a lot of things. It's actually why I stopped reacting to a couple things, because it was making me a little too spicy. Put me in a bad headspace. However, Shoe0nHead generally covers things in a very, spicy aspect. But I'm very curious to see what her point of view on this is.
Hello, and welcome back to the Shoe0nHead channel. I am Shoe0nHead, and I am not real. I am a figment of your imagination. You have been in a coma since 2012. Wake up. Wake up.
Yeah, actually, this tracks.
Oh. Today we will be talking about the dark, seedy underbelly of USAID. This is a topic I've been interested in for a very long time now. And now that recently USAID has been in the news, I figured it is a perfect time to finally talk about it. All the mainstream liberal coverage I've seen of this has basically been late-night talk show hosts crying fake tears about it being dismantled, and all the mainstream Republican coverage has just been about all the woke shit USAID was apparently funding. But I promise you, it is more than that. A lot more.
Weird. You mean that things like this are generally multifaceted and tugging at one string generally like tugs the proverbial Gordian knot? Nah, definitely not. No, definitely not any more in depth than, people's opinions, especially on the internet. No, sir. I've had these conversations way too many times.
If you're not a very political person and you only come here to consume the Reddit gender war slop, you should still stick around for this because this gets juicy. And remember, even if you're not interested in politics, politics is interested in you.
So actually, I was just thinking about this last night. I had somebody send me a bit on how allegedly private medical information is going to be used to, what was it? What was the headline again? I'm sorry. Give me a second. I need to pull this up because I am vindicated. I'm validated in some of my stressors. Yes. Disease registry to track autistic people using private medical records to make it happen. So a while back, I made the hot take on a video where I'm just like, yeah, no, there's people out there that just want mental asylums back. Oh, Kip, that'll never happen. Oh, that's... What do we have people crying for? I'm gonna take my W on that one. I don't like taking that W, but I'm gonna take my W on that one. So at this point, my question is: when does private medical data? When is it utilized? When do I have to have a puzzle piece sewn on my clothes whenever I go outside? Because mandatory, right? Well, you're one of them autistic people, and we need to cure you, right? You wanna come say that to my face? Wanna? We want to have this discussion. You don't want to have this discussion. But yeah, that's been my quote stressor for the week. She's absolutely correct. I think that there's a fine line and there's some nuance absolutely to not doom scroll. But at the end of the day, even if you're a dingus on the internet like me, as it turns out, people view me as a subhuman because I am neurospicy, and they want to put me on a list. And it's only a matter of time before I have to mandatory have some sort of puzzle piece or some sort of designator sewn to my clothes to identify myself as this other, quote unquote. Yeah. We live in a society.
And trust me, I understand why some people aren't interested in politics. It's confusing, it's stressful, it's a lot to keep up with. I feel like 500 things happen every single day.
Yes.
But thankfully, I have a tool to help with that. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, this video is sponsored by USAID. Just kidding. This video is sponsored by Ground News. Let's quickly give them a shout out and then we will jump back into this deep dive, shall we?
Good transition.
Ground News is a website and an app that gives readers a fun and transparent way to read the news all across the political spectrum, from left, right, and center. Every story comes with a quick visual breakdown of political bias that helps you understand the full story and makes sure you're getting both sides. One of my favorite features of Ground News has to be the blind spot feature. It shows you news stories that have been covered by only one side of the political spectrum and ignored by the other side. For example, here is a story about how Elon Musk apparently pressured the Reddit CEO to moderate content on the site. Right away, we can see that the story has been covered by 12 sources. And out of these 12 sources, 75% lean left, and no right-wing sources have covered it. Ground News also makes it really easy to compare headlines to see how political bias or ownership can affect the framing of a story. For example, this right-wing headline about how Trump is taking executive action to make DC safe and beautiful, while this left-leaning headline frames the same story as Trump wants Washington, DC to be Berlin 1939. What? I've been using Ground News for 4 years now because it's great, I love it, and it really helps me see how both sides frame things so differently. Best of all, I am currently offering 40% off their Vantage plan, which is what I use to access all of their amazing features. This comes out to only $5 a month. That's like the price of a coffee, and it is so worth it. It is one of the first apps I check in the morning. It's great. So go to ground.news/shoe or use the QR code on screen right here, or use the link in the video description down below. Again, that is ground.news/shoe, or click the link down below. I think what they're doing is super important because it helps people approach the news in a more fair and balanced way, and I feel like we need that now more than ever. So thank you to Ground News for sponsoring this video, and thank you, the viewer, for not skipping the ad.
I don't. Right? Never.
Now let's get back to this.
I literally never skip the ads. There's so much. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. I want to give it a 10 out of 10, but I think I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. I liked the transition was seamless. I didn't even know we were going into the ad read after Puzzle Piece comment. I didn't even know we were going into the ad read until she mentioned our day sponsor. 2-minute ad read, little lengthy. That being said, that could just be advertiser requirement. Yeah, product matched what we were doing. No inherent bias, I would argue, because showing both sides, multiple viewpoints on Ground News, QR code present, visuals, photos, images, QR code. They all made sense. They were all consistent. I would give it a 9 out of 10. Leaning on 10 out of 10. I don't know what pushes it over. Audio is consistent, video consistent, seamless transition in and out. Like, yeah, this was a fantastic ad read.
USAID deep dive, shall we? So Donald Trump and Elon Musk created the Department of Government Efficiency, aka Doge. Get it? Like the Reddit meme from 2012? Epic bacon, my fellow memers. Honestly, who am I to talk about dead memes? My username is Shoe0nHead. So Doge's supposed goal seems to be cutting useless spending the government is making us pay tax.
So here's the funny, and this is we want to talk about quote-unquote useless spending, and this is not my opinion, right? This is public opinion from what I understand, because I've never understood it, right? When are we cutting VA? When are we cutting not active service, but retired military? To clarify, that is not me advocating for that. If you did the things, get the benefits. That's how a job is supposed to work, right? So I guarantee you we are going to see rhetoric. We are going to see a push at some point to defund, to completely get rid of any and all veterans benefits if you're not actively serving. So if you served in Desert Storm, right? If you went to Afghanistan, if you went to etc., right? Yeah, and you're like, well, you're not active anymore. We're just gonna cut your benefits, right? I guarantee you we're going to see rhetoric about that. Because I don't know, man. I hate everything about this whole Doge meme. I'm very critical in regards to, I think the name is a little bit of a misnomer. It should be the Department of Government Inefficiency, because we have an absolute, I'm really trying to censor myself here. I have zero like for Elon Musk. I know people around me love him. People go, oh no, he's great. That man is dumb. Like he is a he needs his Tard Wrangler is how I'm going to say that. Man can't even play Path of Exile. Like dude changes Twitter features when someone does something he doesn't like. That man is so like, y'all want to call like quote unquote woke people like super sensitive and the world's not a hug box. I think Musk forgot to get the memo. I don't think he understands the world is not a hug box. I am perfectly okay with him seeing an anime boy on the internet saying that he needs to get good. The world is not a hug box. Skill issue. Do better.
Taxes on. Now, I have very mixed feelings about taxes. From each according to his ability, to each according to his needs. Taxation is theft! The tree
That's
of
the
liberty
one.
will be refreshed with the blood of tyrants! My
Hilarious.
opinion has always been, if we are going to pay taxes in this country, could they at least go to things that actually help people, like Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, child tax credits, firefighters, fixing our bridges and roads,
Yeah.
castrating pedophiles, government-funded girlfriends, things like
No. That's why the wood chippers exist.
that.
Allegedly.
And yes, we should be auditing the government. I think that's a good
Yes.
thing. Frankly, I don't care who does it as long as they do it well. Good things
Marine Corps, love you guys. Love you guys for, while the rest of the DoD's failing 7 consecutive audits. Yes, I'm still angry about that, and will continue to be angry about that until they do better. Marine Corps, you guys are awesome. Thank you for not failing 7 consecutive audits. Thank you for being above board.
are good, bad things are bad. I'm anti-bad things, pro-good things. Those are my politics.
Yeah.
And hating libertarians. Just kidding, I love libertarians. I get along great with them. As long as we don't talk about child labor. Anyway,
That's the one.
Doge got straight to work, firing government workers and basically hiring my Twitter mutuals. What was once a theater kid-occupied government is now a right-wing schizo poster-occupied government. No, I am not joking.
So this is a 19-year-old high school graduate who has used the unfortunate nickname Big Balls online. So that would be one way that we could refer to him.
I'm pretty sure I've heard about this. All I'm going to say is I was bullied in high school for playing Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon. This 19-year-old, he clearly didn't get bullied enough. Now, to clarify, not that I'm advocating for bullying, call to action for bullying. All I'm going to say is I think that weeds out some people like this. This weeds out some dumb behaviors. It's social Darwinism to an extent, right? If you have somebody that is going big balls and they're making some pretty not so good tweets, usually that gets stamped out when other people make fun of them. Just at least in my experience, right? Not me specifically, but like in general, you have the negative stimuli, right? You have the negative thing reinforcing person doing the dumb thing. Therefore, Pavlov now associating doing the dumb thing with the negativity. Why am I doing this when I could not do the dumb thing? Right? It's common sense.
He is now working at Musk's behest inside Doge.
If you had told me 10 years ago that Donald Trump and Elon Musk would hire some Zoomer named Big Balls to help audit the government, I'd believe it. Like, yeah, that checks out. They have no relevant experience. Most of them aren't old enough to rent a car. They're not even old enough to rent a car. They're in their 20s. We sent 18-year-olds to go die in the wars you cheerlead on, you evil hag. Why are they so focused on the ages of these people when our government is basically a retirement home? But honestly, I don't blame.
In the case of Texas, it is a retirement home. So, still waiting on Brandon Herrera or somebody to I guess Texas is quote-unquote solving the issue, or they're attempting to do something about someone being found in a retirement home. I haven't heard anything about it. But to be fair, I'm also in Idaho, and we have our own problems, to be fair. So, I mean, that's free real estate when it comes to picking on Idaho.
Hillary Clinton. If I were her, I also wouldn't want 22-year-olds in the government.
No.
Months before dismantling the Department of Education, or apparently Sesame Street, Doge's first order of business was dismantling USAID.
Without providing any proof, Elon said USAID is a criminal organization. Oh, yeah. They're an international crime syndicate hell-bent on helping people.
Pretty f***ed up, huh? Taking money away from an aid program that helps poor people all around the world. Except USAID was not exactly that. In fact, it doesn't even f***ing stand for aid. It stands for a United States Agency for International Development.
Got him.
It has f*** all to do with aid. But honestly, I don't blame you for thinking it does. After all, they do make the word aid a different color in the logo.
So here's the thing, though. I want to, from an objective standpoint, right? And we're gonna take everything else out of it, right? If I was going to say something along the lines of USMC is United States Marine Command, right? It's clearly not, but roll with me on this one. Why should you take anything I say with any sort of validity. Why should you take anything? Even if I gave you the best like description of the United States Marine Corps, even if I gave you everything, I'm really focused on the Marines today. I'm so sorry. Love you guys. Why would you take anything I say seriously? It's almost like you're invalidating their entire point if you don't even know what you're talking. It's like the person I've seen. It's like reading a stroke every time I read a comment, and I pick on it because it's so funny. Saying something about like how I'm just this evil person and how education has failed me, despite many grammar errors, and they keep coming back too. It's like I don't understand it, bro. Yeah, like if you don't get to tell people about the thing if you can't even spell the thing, right? I think that's pretty fair. I should not be able to talk about the Marine Corps if I cannot fucking spell it correctly, right? I should not be able to talk about. I'm trying to pull something offhand, if I'm being completely honest. Other acronyms are completely throwing me off, right? If I'm like USAID and I say it's, United States aid, like the actual word aid, when it's clearly, as Shoe0nHead said, this, right? Which, I don't know, right? I haven't delved into this situation at all. My cares are elsewhere, okay? I've been tisming on Warframe. Let's put it that way. My time has been eaten up on other things. Like, what authority do you have to speak on something if you cannot understand what it is you're talking about? That is a very common sense thing, right? Let's take it from a construction standpoint, right? Or a firearm standpoint. If I can't tell you what a charging handle does, or I can't tell you why, oh my God. Well, I can't tell you what a stud finder does once, drywall's installed and stuff. Why should I talk to you about the thing? That's asinine. That's dumb. Stop glorifying these people.
Those sneaky bastards. Although it said USAID provides 42% of global aid, the truth is most of those funds are just spent paying US contractors and secretly conducting regime change all around the world. In fact, 80% of all USAID funding goes to just 75 organizations, while only 6% of that goes to aid. And by auditing USAID, Doge exposed the true, real puppet masters behind the secret cabal of evil masterminds funding the woke ideology spreading all around the globe. You. Yes, it was you, American taxpayer. Turns out the deep state was the friends we made along the way. And yes, it's true, we are spending billions of dollars in our tax money to fund things like teaching Sri Lankan journalists how to avoid binary gendered language, combating disinformation in Kazakhstan, promoting inclusion in Vietnam, millions to an Armenian LGBT group, millions to rebuild the Cuban media ecosystem, millions for LGBT causes in the Western Balkans, millions for LGBT activism in Uganda, millions for atheism in Nepal, millions for male circumcision around the world, and $2 million for sex changes in Guatemala. And many other things that were so ridiculous I had to double check to make sure I wasn't being trolled. Taxpayer-funded sex changes in Guatemala? We don't even do that here! Now, you might be saying, Shoo, this seems like some stupid anti-woke shit. And yeah, kind of. You got me. But I ask you, young naive liberal, why the f*** was John Bolton once the head of USAID? John Bolton, for those of you who are unaware, is an infamous neocon hack. He's literally criticized Trump for not being enough of a warmonger. Neocon hacks, for those same few of you who are unaware, are the people in our government responsible for meddling with other countries all around the world and getting us into wars for basically funsies. The people who suck.
I thought that's just how that worked. I thought that's how profiteering worked. I mean, I thought ever since World War II, I mean, it's like, well, I guess you can even go back to World War I, right? For all intents and purposes, war is profitable. That's just objective financial fact. Not that I can support the ideology. Much in the same way that all publicity is good publicity is a philosophy. And yes, metrics don't care if engagement is positive, negative, or neutral. It just cares about engagement. Engagement number go bigger, line go up, parabolic curve go up, right? Like, not that I necessarily agree with the philosophy. It's clearly made people money. Yeah, I mean, this would make sense. I've never really delved into this personally. Yeah, I mean, this would make sense.
The teat of Raytheon, Boeing, etc. The military-industrial complex's favorite Discord kittens. These guys come in shades of red and blue. So why was John Bolton, a red guy, in charge of the same program, USAID, that is sending American taxpayer money to foreign countries to have things like trans pride parades? The truth is, the USAID thing goes a lot deeper than what a lot of Republican commentators are saying. It wasn't just a bunch of libtards in government wasting our money on stupid woke things. No, there's way more than that. You see, it's current year and we can't just do old-fashioned imperialism anymore. The people don't like that. It's a new era, so we have to dress it up in glitter and rainbows. To put it bluntly, USAID is nothing but another form of taxpayer.
I think I get what she's getting at. I want to substantiate and validate that. That is interesting. Interesting.
Funded regime change, wearing an innocent mask of aid. Yeah. Shut up, Shoe! You dumb bimbo populist! You reactionary shitlord! You cry, tears running down your fat, retarded face. The United States is just giving foreign countries billions of dollars out of the kindness of their hearts. Oh yeah? I have a lovely bridge on sale down the road. Would you like to buy it? Listen, despite
how big we talking?
All its faults, I love America, and I love the American people. But if you believe the corrupt, greedy bureaucrats running the deep state of this country do anything out of the kindness of their hearts, you are a sweet, innocent angel, and you need to be protected at all costs. I especially side-eye any leftist who has the nerve to run defense for USAID, especially those who call themselves socialists or commies, considering the fact that USAID was basically originally created to destroy communist countries all around the world. Established in 1961 by President John F. Kennedy under the noble guise of aiding developing nations, USAID was, in many respects, an instrument during the Cold War to counter Soviet influence and keep the Third World from crafting its own socioeconomic model.
And this is what she was getting at. This is a means in aspects to undermine current authority in other nations by doing so. So, right, atheism in whatever country it was, I forgot what it was already, on the list, right? Supporting atheism in, I think it was Nepal. Millions for atheism in Nepal. Okay. Could that have implications with religious groups and or authority in Nepal? It's entirely possible. It could not. I am not the specialist here. I'm far from research or any authority to really commentate on that. That being said, the information presented here, looking at some of these, it's like, interesting. This might be a way to, under the guise of progression, undermine current authority and effectively influence decisions, is how I'm going to word that.
A year after President John Kennedy created USAID in 1961, he told its directors that, as we do not want to send American troops to a great many areas where freedom may be under attack, we send you. It wasn't long before the CIA spotted an opportunity to extend its reach. In 1962, USAID launched its Office of Public Safety to send agents around the world under the guise of training police officers. But as it turned out, the trainers were busy teaching enhanced interrogation techniques, a euphemism for torture. The scandal broke out in 1966, and although the office was finally shut down in 1974, the dark practices persisted within military and intelligence circles. By 1980, USAID Administrator John Gilligan was candid enough to describe the agency as nothing more than a graduate school for the CIA. At one time, many aid field offices were infiltrated from top to bottom with CIA people, he said. It was pretty well known in the agency who they were and what they were up to. The idea was to plant operatives in every kind of activity we had overseas, government, volunteer, religious, every kind. USAID was quickly nicknamed the CIA's little sister. Oh, and here is John Bolton holding a trophy given.
Why is this man just decrepit? Why? Why does it look like, why are we in a retirement home? Like, please, go on your boat, go on your yacht, water your lawn, yell at clouds, something. Like, I'm actually getting tired of staring at people who look like they would sneeze and dust would come out. It's actually disgusting at this point.
Given to him by USAID in the shape of a hand grenade. Yeah, nothing to see here, folks. So let's talk about Shoe0nHead, shall we? Sit down. I love this story. Taken directly from Wikipedia, Shoe0nHead was an online social networking and microblogging service created by the United States Agency for International Development, aka USAID, and marketed to Cuban users. It was covertly developed as a long-term strategy to encourage Cuban youths to revolt against the nation's government. The developers aim to use non-controversial content, such as sports and music, to build up subscribers and then to slowly introduce political messages through social bots to encourage dissent in an astroturfing initiative.
I mean, this is just standard manipulation. This is why habitually I say, look, I like subscribers. I like being John public figure. I very specifically don't want people to feel like they should blindly follow me. As it turns out, in this very video, you could have multiple points that you disagree with. It's fine. Like, you're your own individual. You have come to your own educated conclusions. You should be seeking your own conclusions, not necessarily taking everything I say or anyone says on the internet as, oh, this is the answer, this is the truth, etc. Man, I've been wrong on so many things, right? I've been very opinionative. Like, you're your own individual. You should embrace your individuality. And yeah, sure, if you end up disagreeing with something, that's fine. We can be adults about it. If it's severe enough that you're like, yeah, this Kip guy is he's just, I don't know, this woke communist centrist, and he's got this skittle hair, and he licks windows, and I can't follow him anymore. Okay, then just don't click on the video. Like, that's fine. I had somebody comment on the VOD channel. I don't know who it was offhand, but somebody I guess had a disagreement with me. I don't even remember this interaction. I guess there was a super negative disagreement, and they're like, yeah, no, I tried getting away from your content, and then YouTube just kept recommending it, and I came back, and it was an apology about something. Hi, individual, if you're there. I don't remember, unfortunately. You're all good. Just be chill about it. As it turns out, just be cool about things. Don't be weird. That solves so many things in life.
So basically, USAID created a fake-ass social media platform in Cuba with our tax dollars, flooded it with bot content about like sports and music and whatever, just to make it seem normal, then slowly started to manipulate the users and create political division on the app between Cuban citizens in order to create political chaos in this country and a potential uprising. So yeah, how dare we take money away from those starving undercover agents?
So what was the and this is where it was the guest on the Unsubscribed podcast. It was Brandon Herrera. They had somebody who I guess worked in intelligence, and they were talking about lethal action, advocating for lethal action against malicious internet users or something like that. So what you're advocating for would be the CIA in doing something like this and trying to undermine authority. That the double-edged sword here is that you're advocating that people be able to engage in lethal action, lethal retaliation against them. Like, just basic common sense. If you say one thing, like if I say, how do I word it? I'm trying to take all of like the things, all of the politics, the nuance, etc. out of it, and like opinion piece. Anybody who plays League of Legends should be that's already a statement in itself. Anybody who plays League of Legends should be mandated to shower 3 times a day. I don't know, dude. I'm trying to throw some really weird thing out of left field at this point. My face has been exploding for like the past 2 days because of allergies. I'm so sorry if I'm not like super coherent. But it's like that's still a bad example. If I am too, it's the rules for thee but not for me thing, right? But also the double talk. I can't stand the double talk. If someone starts engaging in double talk, regardless of what the point is, if I agree with it, disagree with it, I'm neutral on it, like it's double talk, right? Going to the TISM thing, right? Let's go to the TISM thing, right? We're going to see people increase in rhetoric against, people with TISM, people who are neurospicy, neurodivergent, etc. Until suddenly you have a family member, maybe you have a brother who's like, yeah, no, I got diagnosed with ADHD last year, right? That kind of thing. And then suddenly what happens? Oh, well, it's everyone else is the other, but not you, John, brother, person. You're different, right? Now you're making exceptions. How about check your worldview and at least be consistent? Have an opinion. Have an L opinion. Sure, whatever. Can you justify it? Sure. Dude on the Unsubscribe podcast literally has the research. I have no ability to challenge that because clearly he has the research put into it. I haven't watched his video as it really didn't interest me. Like, yeah, just be consistent. The fastest way to, other than just incorrectly, like, naming things, right? Like we discussed earlier, double talk, hypocrisy. That is the fastest way to kill any argument that you have.
Things even more sus. The money we spent on Shoe0nHead was publicly documented as an unnamed project in Pakistan. Yes, this fake-ass social media psyop they created in Cuba was documented by our government as being a project in Pakistan. Now, think of all the other weird shit USAID was supposedly funding. Those sex changes in Guatemala. Were they really sex changes in Guatemala? Or were they some covert psyop being done somewhere else in the world? I guess we'll never know now.
I mean, honestly, that's you open up that line of questioning, though. Like, imagine if I were to run charity events, right? And it came out that a charity event I ran was spent on like League of Legends skins. Now, does that not set precedent, or at the very least in the back of people's mind, whoa, this was supposed to go to this cause. Why are we going to give this guy, this dingus on the internet money if he just used it? And then it calls everything else into question. Did this charity you did last month, did that just go to League of Legends skins? Does this go to Warframe skins, right? Like, you see how that incepts doubt and inherently kills any credibility that you have. I don't know about many people on the internet. I at the very least care about my image. When I do things like this, Shoe0nHead, in my opinion, has proven at least to be a intelligent person, right? Agreeable, disagreeable. I mean, like, sure, points are made, but it's the adult debate, right? The adult interaction, the adult back and forth, right? That's how that works. You can have different opinions. You can come to different conclusions and still be civil about it. It's weird. I know it's such a strange concept for the internet. Like, I don't know. Engaging in stuff like this is always interesting, and I usually prefer to do this behind closed doors because it gets very, very heated very, very quickly. People end up entrenching in their own positions, whether it's a good faith or a bad faith argument. People will then stick to rhetoric that they feel fits with their worldview, and they will view any sort of anything else, anything otherwise, as an attack on them, even if you are completely right. It is you're saying that the world is round, I think the world is flat, therefore you're attacking me because you're not being tolerant of me. No, you're just being dumb. We have literal scientific evidence, like, please.
Using social media to divide the masses and create political division.
Weird.
You don't think... No. They wouldn't do that. I mean, it's kind of weird they asked the former founder of Twitter to help with this project, but no. They would only do social media psyops in other countries, right? Right? In March 2024, a document was exposed that revealed USAID was running covert psyops all around the internet in order to combat populist misinformation about the government on Twitch, Twitter, Reddit, Facebook, and 4chan.
I mean, they're doing a really piss poor job because we have we have so many politics tubers. If the goal is to prevent misinformation and disinformation, that's a skill issue. You should probably be fired because it's bad. Once again, skill and merit.
Although its internal justification was halting the flow of mis- and disinformation, it seemed particularly concerned with malinformation, a concept it defines as speech that is factually correct but misleading, i.e.,
sure.
bothersome truths the US government would prefer the public does not know. USAID suggests directing the public toward mainstream corporate sources of information and psychologically inoculating them against inconvenient facts that challenge US power by pre-bunking information before people see it. Pre-bunking includes discrediting the brand, the credibility, and reputation of those making false allegations.
So, does the gentleman from the Air Force who is no longer with us, who engaged in the fiery display, as we're going to put it, this falls under this, doesn't it? Oh, well, this person had after the fact, this person had a history of mental health issues, and every excuse in the woodwork. for a blazing quote unquote active protest. Does that not fall under this? Someone who is literally, right, what people go, yeah, U.S. military, yeah. Someone who was in the U.S. military making I'm running out of fire words. I'm running out of synonyms. I apologize. In a blazing display of defiance against, I don't even remember what it was specifically. That was the inciting incident, if I'm being completely honest. Which actually is really depressing me right now, and I do apologize about that. Like, does this not fall under this to discredit his service, to discredit his legacy, his actions, his service? I think that's really, really messed up. And I know, and that's the thing, is internet outrage is 2 weeks. Like we've proven this time and time again. When's the last time you heard about the Mr. Beast lawsuits? When's the last time you heard anything about Logan Paul? The internet outrage is 2 weeks. People unfortunately do move on. I've had comments that say, "Kip, stop being upset. Stop talking about DoD failing 7 consecutive audits, minus the Marine Corps," because people just don't want to hear it. You can see it in action. This is reality.
In other words, a state-directed attack against alternative media and critics of the US government. So basically, USAID was funding a bunch of dorks to go all around social media and be like, source? Every time someone criticizes the government. This is somehow more pathetic than when I used to use an alt account to defend myself on BreadTube subreddits. That is basically what our government was doing. Oh, no. Also, I like how this implies the people you called a Fed online might have actually been a Fed. There is a chance that you may have fought with a federal agent, a USAID federal agent on Twitter or 4chan. This also implies that like streamers and social media influencers may have been funded by USAID.
So here's the thing, right? And now who can you trust? You see in this very video, is Shoe0nHead a government agent? Is Kip a government agent? I feel like and that's the thing, is I could say, well, I'm clearly not partnered with him, affiliated with any way, shape, or form. But then again, it's like, would there be something defensible in regards to a can neither confirm nor deny adjacent thing? Like, and that's it sows discomfort because you don't know who you can trust and who you can rely on. And that becomes a tool for manipulation in general, right? Like, let's go to, cult psychology from little bits and pieces of like how people manipulate other people, right? You keep people tired. You make sure you cut people off from everyone else and make sure that they only rely on you, right? That they are dependent on you. And you make sure that like you are the provider of information for them. These are basic concepts at work here. You cannot trust the others. You cannot trust anyone. You can trust me, though. That kind of thing, right? Which is, once again, why I am so hell-bent on you are your own individual. Come to your own conclusions. Don't take things I say. Don't even take things Shoe0nHead says. Don't take anything anybody says as de facto this is it. Unless, obviously, of course, like scientific evidence, like, world is round, right? Like scientific evidence that like definitively proves, hi, this is the thing, right? Like, that's fine. Hi, Kip, you said this thing. I have this source. This is the source. This is the information you need to know. Hi, thank you so much. That's how discourse works. That's how we work through information. We work together to make sure that we have the things right. And even then, if it's like, well, I mean, yeah, this is the information you presented. I have to concede with this. This is still my opinion on the matter, right? Epidemic Sound, right? How even though I pay for a license, I've gotten multiple copyright claims from them. And I made videos on the very subject, right? And having the understanding of having somebody sit down with me and be like, hey, Kip, this is what's going on in the background. Not from Epidemic Sound, mind you. Somebody who also pays for Epidemic Sound, but is not Epidemic Sound, has to go, this is how the back-end process works. This is why you're getting copyright claims, because the sheer amount of it's a number of things doing sheer amount of videos, back-ends on their end, etc., right? So I go, okay, logically what you say, it makes sense. I do upload a lot of content. I get that sometimes our algorithm's going to trip up. I can still be upset about them, especially when I have a literal manager saying, oh, well, we're not going to offer you a special custom plan when you're saying you're going to have more than 3 channels, but this package will be fine for you even though you only get 3 channels. Because apparently Epidemic Sound Management, verifiably via email that I still have, cannot do math. Because apparently 4, 5, 6 equals 3. Like, I'm still receiving information. I'm still allowed to be like, okay, I understand, I can acknowledge this information. However, my opinion is still negative, and they've really done nothing to try to mend that relationship or mend that business, like that business interaction. They've done nothing to mend that. If anything, getting 2 further copyright claims in the past, which I've made videos on, is apparently their just business MO ? So that's the nuance there, right? The funny little N-word the internet doesn't like, the nuance, that's the nuance there. Like, this is a rabbit hole.
But who? Who among us? Who would be willing to unquestionably, enthusiastically suck establishment cock that hard?
Many people.
For all the bad stuff America does around the world, USAID was just an organization that...
Who is this? I've seen them. Honestly, oh, God. It's kind of like Hassan. I lose brain cells thinking about them.
did a lot of nice things, like it put a lot of money into efforts to help people in a variety of ways, like both materially and culturally. It's just like a nice way for the United States to have a positive presence around the world.
It's really funny because, and I want to thank everyone for coming out to it. When I was streaming Warframe, my chat was moving faster than his chat. Maybe his chat's on slow mode. Maybe that's a thing as well. Dude, I can't imagine doing this for a living. I can't do it. I could not sit there and discuss things day after day after day after day after day after day after day. Like, Habitual Line Crosser could do it. I don't have that fortitude. I'm creatively bankrupt. Video does well, I'll probably react to another video. A lot of people like Shoe0nHead. A lot of people like Shoe0nHead reactions. I feel that I can provide at least some sort of dingus commentary. Therefore, hi, have a new Shoe0nHead reaction. But like, literally going to be like just streaming Warframe on Twitch tonight. I have Oblivion Remastered just came out. It's going to date the video. But like, I have so many better things to do with my day and stream and do for content, right? Like, doing this, sitting back and forth and criticizing, sure, absolutely. And it's just, when it becomes everything you do, it's such an element. It's such a downward spiral for me because I don't have fun. I feel like other people don't have fun. I feel like it just turns into a degenerative game state, right? Like, actually, like Scoop status. Nah, Scoop, I'm leaving the game shop. Have a nice day.
For the record, I do not actually believe Destiny is being funded by USAID. I just thought that transition was funny.
Hilarious.
I love that quote, though. USAID was just a nice organization that did a lot of nice things, like culturally help people around the world. Culturally help people? Why are we in the business of cultural imperialism? Why do we have to culturally enrich Latin America or the f***ing Balkans? So not only are we the world police, but we are now the world HR department? No thank you. Why are we spending billions of dollars doing f***ass shit in other countries while ours crumbles? I don't care about teaching gender studies to Ugandans. The pothole in front of my house hasn't been filled in 3 years. These are my taxes, and I believe my taxes should go to help people in my country.
You're absolutely correct. And I think that we should... I was going to do a whole bit on just like, yeah, and I agree. My tax dollars should go towards giving every single U.S. Marine Corps member a stun baton as their standard issue kit. And thus we enter this is why people vote on things. This is why people have to come together to agree on things, because people are going to be like, Kip, that's a dumb idea. Other people will be like, Kip, that is an amazing idea. Other people will look at me horrified and go, are you sure about that? So like, reasonably, you can see how things like this are constructed. You have, say, 300 some odd million people, right? And it's like, okay, yeah, roads are kind of bad. Let's, maybe say hi people who are representative, right? Because the representative thing does work because something, population per state, constituents, etc., right? Like, and even then, you could just update most of that stuff to current anyway. Like, you could really have somebody have federal phone app to do voting and stuff on. Like, I don't see there being a reason not to, outside of, obvious like upfront costs and issues, etc., right? But then again, I mean, there are people who are like, oh, well, something, USAID, good, defund the rest of the world except for Israel. And it's like, that's not once again, we're doing the double talk thing where you say defund all the things, but then you're like, oh, no, this is the exception. The rules for thee, not for thee. It's like, oh my God, bro, please. Like, at least be consistent. That's all I'm asking from the internet, but I know it's too much. It really is. I'm on one day. I'm so sorry.
I think that's controversial to say. And I know many conservatives agree with me. I'll always hear them say, we can't be spending money in Ukraine. We have to take care of our own. And then they just don't take care of their own.
Yep.
Because that's socialism or communism or something.
Exactly.
Listen, do you actually want to take care of your own? Do you actually want your taxes to go towards helping the poor and sick and families in this country? Are you actually America first, or are you corpos and foreign countries first? I'm more than happy to work with you on good things to fix this country. But I don't think the establishment GOP is.
You don't want able-bodied workers on a program that is intended, for example, for single mothers with 2 small children who's just trying to make it. That's what Medicaid is for, not for 29-year-old males sitting on their couches playing video games. We're going to...
You want to have this discussion, my guy? You do not want to have this discussion, my guy. Ooh, I hate this, dude. It's literally just video games make people violent 2.0 boogaloo. Get off the dick of video games. There are so many people that make money from the video. And here's the thing. The $60 price point on video games is there, in my opinion, and I think is fair to retain at 60 because that industry is so heavily unregulated. Can you imagine buying a season pass for different colors for your laundry machine? Can you imagine being unable to start your oven or dishwasher without an active subscription, like MMO style, like World of Warcraft, like actual subscription? Can you imagine that in any other industry but the video games industry? For people who, not saying he's directly benefited off of video games. What I am saying is when there's a bunch of people, rich people, we have Procter & Gamble investment bankers going to Activision Blizzard, right? Making a crap ton of money off the video games industry. A lot of people seem to be really into this anti-gamer, games make people violent rhetoric. It's so strange to me. What the hell?
Find those guys and we're going to send them back to work.
First of all,
okay, that's fine. Would you like to have a conversation? Would you like to have a discussion with me? Would you like to have a discussion with how I make more what I currently do than I did working for X company who didn't actually staff accordingly, who literally enabled people who avoided jobs and pawned jobs off on other people like me? I was a hard worker. I pride myself in my work. I tie my self-value to my worth. I tie my self-value to my work, right? I'm that person. You don't want to have this discussion because it is going to devolve into 100%, Mr. whatever your name is here. I expect you to not take lunches. I expect you to not take breaks. I expect you to work at least 70 hours a week. What? That's suddenly unreasonable for you? Well, you see, I, as a neurodivergent, I, as a person sitting on my ass and, playing video games all day, I don't take lunches and breaks, especially when I worked in, financial institution, especially when I worked in a grocery store. I didn't take breaks. I didn't take lunches. I actually purposely skipped those to do more work. I made sure to do other people's work because I know I would get yelled at if I didn't do the work. You do not want to have this discussion. You do not want to have the discussion in regards to who is lazy and entitled because 100% you need to put it up. You need to put out before you have even any remotely ability to say otherwise. I expect you to skip lunches. I expect you to skip breaks. I expect you to work holidays. I absolutely expect you to miss holiday events, dinners, weddings, etc. to get more work done. Then you may comment. Then you may have a discussion on the subject. That is incredibly entitled to even remotely say.
Medicaid is for anyone who needs it, period. Yes. And second of all, 29-year-old guys? You mean your f***ing voter base? You mean the very demographic that is shifting the entire country in your direction? Those guys? Yeah.
I think Shoe0nHead and I are, I think we're both a little spicy on this point. I feel validated when she brings up a point, and I can hear the seething a little bit. I love it.
We're just wasting so much money helping young men. Those greedy gamers just gobbling up all the tax money. Not massive tax cuts to corporations and the rich. Not all the money to the bloated military-industrial complex. No. Gamers. Young men who...
All I'm saying, these people like him, we just need to force to not be able to take vacations. Force them to not have lunches and breaks. Force them to work more. Oh, but that's not... Oh, so now we're into the, okay, regulation good territory. You see how that works? Wait a minute. You mean that we established a 40-hour work week and lunches and breaks for reasons? Weird.
Can't find a job, can't afford a house, can't afford college. Young men who can't build a family because of the society you created. Those guys, they need to pull themselves up by their bootstraps and pay for their own medication.
Oh my God, yes, I'm so sorry. This man in the interview, I need him to pull himself up by his bootstraps, stop whining like a little I can't say the funny B word, even though I want to say the funny B word. He needs to pull himself up by his bootstraps and actually get some work done rather than sit on CNN or something like that. He needs to put in work. Why is he sitting on it? Oh, well, it's his job. Well, clearly he's not doing enough. If you got time to lean, you got time to clean. You see how that rhetoric cuts both ways? Yeah, as it turns out, management doesn't like when you use that rhetoric both ways. Management and people in authority hate when you say, well, if you got time to lean, you got time to clean, right? I mean, there is management stuff to do. I mean, when there's ordering you have to do for the restaurant, why did this person send me this client who was not verified, therefore sending me a scam caller? Why are we not doing that? Oh, well, I will deal with it. I'm the manager. Well, you better deal with it. You see how the rhetoric doesn't cut both ways? If you respect me, I respect you. Even if we disagree on points. If you respect me, I will respect you. In fact, that's literally how I have a couple people who were just super nice to me. Super nice to me on stream. Love lurking in their streams. They're super cool. Like, yeah. Just be kind to me. Just be nice. That's all people want. Like, people hate being talked down to, right? People hate being told, well, what you're doing is wrong, right? Like, I get it. That's just psychology. That the people hate being told, yeah, well, you're just a shit human being, right? I think we can all agree on that. Work with people. Respect people. If somebody starts abusing a privilege, such as, I don't know, every single Monday someone's calling out because clearly they're just, they're partying all weekend and they have a hangover, and then they're, calling out Mondays, and you address it with them, say, hey, what's going on? We need you at work. You're scheduled for Mondays. Oh, I'm so sorry. And it still continues. Then grats, guess you're changing his schedule. Guess he's working. Guess he's off Sunday, Monday, because clearly he needs that Monday off. And now he's working, Tuesday through Saturday? Well, I don't want that. Well, I don't know what you want from me, my guy. You're clearly calling out every single Monday, right? This is just example's sake, right? This is what I had pulled offhand, right? But I think we can all agree on that, right? People will abuse systems, and systems will always be abused because systems should be geared towards hitting the most percentage of people actually impacted. So if a system is 99% effective, grats, there will always be that 1% that will find a way to abuse the system, take advantage of the system. And yes, that's why punishments exist, right? In Oregon, I hear there's people who will take the I don't know if it's WIC. They'll take benefits, and then they'll buy a bunch of water. They'll buy bottled water. They'll dump out the bottled water, and then they'll recycle the bottles. They'll trade in the bottles and get cash out of it. So effectively, they're doing a currency conversion, right? But you know what happens? Instead of nuking the whole system, the people who are found to be at fault of that, guilty of that, they just get their benefits revoked. It's weird how accountability and punishments work. It's almost like I keep talking about accountability and how if you hold people accountable, stuff starts changing. It's strange, I know.
This care isn't for them. It's for women. What? Great to know both sides of the establishment fucking hate young men.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, sorry, I popped off. Let's get back on topic. Now, USAID did do some good things. I won't deny that. But even some of the good things USAID did were nothing but a bunch of fronts. Using Cuba as an example again, because these are some of the only ones that have been exposed so far, there was a USAID program called the Travelers Project that was said to be an HIV prevention workshop. But yet again, it was nothing but another covert regime change psyop. This was exposed in 2014 by the Associated Press. Young Venezuelans and Peruvians were deployed by USAID to Cuba's college campuses for $5.41 an hour. Really, USAID? Billions of dollars force feminizing mice, and you can't even pay your spies a living wage? Sad. Anyway, they were used to recruit college students into political organizations with the goal of turning them against their government. The goal of, once again, creating political division. In the exposed memos about this, USAID called their HIV workshop the, quote, perfect excuse. Right. But we're totally funding DEI in Vietnam for pure humanitarian reasons, I'm sure. This was done so sloppily that even our boy John Bolton came out and disavowed it, but not without saying he thought it was a good idea in principle. Yes, it's a great idea to create taxpayer-funded secret psyops all over the world in order to f*** with other countries' politics. Just don't recruit teenagers to do it next time, okay? What? I honestly just think it's kind of funny we were funding anti-socialist agendas all around the world and disguising it as social progressivism. Don't think too hard about that one. Now, Cuba wasn't the only place USAID was culturally helping. On January 12, 2010, a 7.0 magnitude earthquake struck Haiti, killing 220,000 people, injuring another 300,000, and leaving 1.5 million more homeless. In the wake of the catastrophe, the United States provided $1.6 billion in reconstruction funding to Haiti.
What's the phrase or the philosophy? Never let a good crisis go to waste. Yeah, just mentioning that.
651 million of which went to USAID. Rather than employing Haitian construction companies, USAID contracted out the rebuilding projects to international firms. For instance, Minnesota-based construction firm Thor was awarded 18 million in contracts, and Mexico-based firm Cemex received over 7 million. But by far the largest recipient of USAID funding in Haiti was Washington, D.C. based contractor Chemonics International, who received over 200 million to carry out a total of 141 projects. In fact, USAID awarded more money to Chemonics than to the entire Haitian government in the wake of the earthquake.
I guess I can play devil's advocate a little bit here because you want to make sure for any what's the funny there's a thing about this recently. Family on YouTube, Deep South, person was interviewing them and had a Patreon set up to help them buy a house, but something always kept asking for money, therefore Patreon it was empty, therefore no money in account to buy house. Person said, that's it, I'm out, because family effectively was like, oh wow, we don't see this money. The whole situation that happened fairly recently, I don't remember what the name of the family was. Deep South, the internet's fascinated with them for some reason. So if we apply and I'm not likening the two, I'm likening like the award, like awarding money to somebody or giving money to somebody, some entity like this, where you want to make sure that it's appropriated correctly, right? So if you just, I don't know, Patreon directly to said family for the sake of a house, and they just kept blowing it on, I don't know, car repair, pizza night, etc., right? Like, you want to make sure it's being appropriated correctly. Now, the point here, the keyword is appropriated correctly, because I have zero faith in anything Washington, D.C. to ever appropriate any funds correctly. Once again, something, DOD fail 7 consecutive audits. Like, yeah. This logic only works if you want to make sure that it is going to the correct people to appropriate funds correctly, if it's actually the correct people. Like, simple as.
An audit conducted on Chemonics revealed that the company had a tendency to not finish jobs, evaluated its own project on arbitrary criteria, not having to do anything with the project, and failed to set timelines, causing some projects to fall behind schedule. In one case, Chemonics was contracted to build Haiti's new parliament building, but what they constructed came out half-finished and unusable. The company only built the framework of the building, not even erecting interior walls to divide office spaces, nor did they bother to furnish the building. Left with this, the Haitian government was forced to draw $775,000 from its public treasury to complete the project. Despite these disastrous results, Chemonics to this day remains USAID.
Man, as somebody who's a U.S. citizen, I'm embarrassed because of this. I am embarrassed that a company can be rewarded that much money and do such a shit-ass job. I am embarrassed that Chemonics did this. That is 100% a skill issue.
He's a top contractor. The construction company was awarded $506.4 million in contracts in 2021 alone. In a leaked email exposed by WikiLeaks, they described this tragedy as a gold rush, ensuring that it would be great for international companies. Seems like the only thing they are culturally helping is their own wallets, am I right? And you know how you always hear about how poor people are in Venezuela and how the politicians are so rich and live in luxury? Yeah, part of that has to do with USAID. Billions of dollars of aid we sent to Venezuela just lined the pockets of US-backed politicians there. Only 2% of the aid we sent to Venezuela actually went to help Venezuelans. So at this point, the whole world was basically sick of USAID's bullshit. In 2013, Bolivian President Evo Morales expelled USAID officials from his country on the grounds that the agency had conspired against his government by allegedly manipulating social movements in the country. He also charged that a previous USAID program that sought to help cocoa farms switch to new crops was politically motivated. Russia expelled the agency in 2012 for similar reasons. Its foreign ministry argued in a statement that USAID attempts to influence political processes through its grants. And in February, Kenyan Cabinet Secretary Francis Kimimya claimed that his government had evidence that USAID had hired activists to organize anti-government protests in Nairobi in an effort to topple the government.
So here's the thing, right? And this is the thing I have a genuine question about. If it was anyone but the US, let's say it was small little tin pot nation, right? Let's say any other nation was doing this. Would we not label that the funny T word? You know, something we don't negotiate with funny T word, right? We don't negotiate with those people. Except when, you know, apparently I guess we do. Because I guess that's the thing. But also you can't decry something and then do the same exact thing. That's hypocrisy. Well, once again, I'm from a title position. I am from an absolute position of comfort, effectively. I'm effectively, as I've said, I'm effectively just the internet, just modern Karl Marx. I benefit from the very systems I criticize in that aspect, right? Like, I directly benefit from things. I criticize those things. Yeah, like, I don't know. I don't know. I'm kind of just dumbstruck at this point. Yeah, sounds like some people need to get some audits. Sounds like some people need to get some have to skip some lunches and breaks, especially management. Skip some lunches and breaks and actually do some more work.
Oh, and if you're wondering why so many news outlets and journalists were freaking out over the potential shutting down of USAID, yeah, it's probably because it's where their paychecks were coming from.
Nice.
Yeah, apparently USAID was funding about 6,200 journalists and 707 news outlets all across the world. Not even just America. For example, the editor-in-chief of a Ukrainian news outlet wrote that destroying USAID was a greater threat to Ukrainian journalism than the Russian invasion. What?
Weird.
There were independent outlets shutting down everywhere, including Russia after the USAID freeze. So we were apparently funding media in both Ukraine and Russia.
Why on earth? What? I thought that the U.S. didn't have anything going, especially because we had the entire freeze, seizure of assets. Russia's now on the BRIC system. I'm missing something in its entirety here.
Playing both sides so that I always come out on top.
Love always
Serbia, Moldova, all across Latin America, independent outlets shutting down everywhere. All because the little sister of the CIA can't pay no mo. So I have a question. Why the f*** were we funding media in all these other countries? Well, the CEO for the Center of Investigative Reporting, a USAID-supported Bosnian media organization, said it best. Quote, "If you are funded by the US government, there are certain topics that you would simply not go after, because the US government has its interests that are above all else."
No, that just makes sense.
Oh, I guess that answers my question. USAID is also ridden with other scandals, such as covering up a child sex abuse ring in Kenya,
No, wood chipper, no. Especially for the people who also covered that up. No. Why are we in any way, shape, or form enabling this? Why are we in any way, shape, or form okaying this? Why are we hiding this? No. These people in what, like, that is one of those that guilt by association definitely goes ham into that. Like, you can't cover that up. No, you have to hold people accountable. That is not fair in any way, shape, or form. I don't cover these topics. It just makes me angry.
kidnapping and torturing people in Uruguay, forced sterilizing 300,000 Peruvian women, and the famous one you all know, funding drug production in Afghanistan. Oopsie poopsies, we did little fucky wuckies. Now think about all the other shit that hasn't been exposed. These aren't mistakes. These aren't flukes. These aren't little fucky-wuckies. This is what this program was set out to do. This is why it was created. We were quite literally funding Globo Homo as a sneaky way to do regime change and American intervention. Or do you think we're spending $1 million in Nepal to promote atheism because Hinduism is such a threat? You're cute. The United States won't sleep until there's an ugly progress flag hanging on Starbucks on every corner of every street all over the world from Latin America to the Middle East. Ah yes, the greatest American exports, butt, sex, and war. There are a shit ton of old left-wing articles you can find online spanning back to like 2010, even earlier, about how evil USAID is. Now suddenly liberals are acting like it's another fucking beacon of democracy that we have to cry and piss and shit about just because it's Trump getting rid of it. Frankly, I don't care. If they start dismantling things that I do care about, things that do actually help the American people, then I will care. Expose where the trillions of dollars we spent on the Iraq war went next, please. Or, you know, actually release the Epstein files.
Yeah, please. Where's my list? Where's my list? Where's my names? Where's my irrefutable evidence of names who flew to that island? Whether anything happened or not, the fact that they were on that island. Where's my names? Where's our knowledge of all of these people? I think that would be very good to know. I think it'd be very good for certain businesses to potentially turn people away for being on said list. You know, I'm sorry, Mr. Mr. Insert name here. We will not be able to serve you today. What do you mean? You do know who I am? Oh, sir, I'm sorry. We don't want to serve your kind here, unfortunately, for being on that list. I think that holding some people accountable would definitely be a good drum up public support and sentiment. Sentencing a bunch of people on that list. That would be spicy.
Do I think Doge cut USAID because they're our great comrade in arms,
I think it's Occam's razor. I think they're just stupid.
cutting off the tentacles of American imperialism? No. Trump probably just cut it because he thought it was a woke gay waste of money, and it was.
Oh yeah, Enola Gay. Right, yeah, because that's woke and progressive apparently. Yeah, you know the Enola Gay. Yeah, because that was a thing that came out fairly recently. From whatever this is the thing they did. Dude, I hate people. I love individual people, like persons. Like it's been really cool. I love individual people. Yeah, I'm just old man yells at cloud at this point.
But as far as I'm concerned, every article written about how bad dismantling it was written by John Bolton himself. Like the president of Colombia said, "Take your money with you. It's poison." All the sources I used in this video and all the information I got for this video will be in links down below. Feel free to do your own research as always. And if you like this video, please consider subscribing. A lot of you aren't subscribed apparently. You just watch and fuck off. I will find you. Also, this video is most likely going to be demonetized, so if you can and if you want to, please donate to me on Patreon, link down below. It helps the channel so much, and I appreciate it. And I will see you next time with a less serious, more fun video. Bye!
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, she's right. Whether you care about it or not, things will find you. You should have opinions about things. Do your own research. Once again, someone advocating, hi, don't take everything I said if you're curious and do your own research. That's why I have respect. What? That ultimately is, like, do your own research. You can disagree with things I say. You can disagree with things she said. Do your own research. Make sure that you're fact checking. Make sure that you're putting in the hours to do that, right? Yeah, I mean, I've chalked enough throughout this video. I don't know how I made this an hour. I apologize because I definitely ranted at several points on this. But thank you, Shoe0nHead, for another amazing video. I was debating on covering this or not. Personally, I'm trying to put out some videos and just binge the rest of Warframe's story, get the VODs out and stuff like that. So I got other things that I'm definitely going to do and not think about this. Do your own research. You are your own individual. Come to your own opinions. Disagree with others should you disagree with them. But make sure you're being adults about it, right? Like that's it. Show people respect. Expect respect in kind. Yeah, that's all I really got. Thank you everyone for watching. I really do appreciate it. And I'll see you in the next one.